Hey there, Sinulog session, episode 2. So, in the last episode, we talked about the history 1521, Magellan, and the gift that somehow survived 500 years. But if I'm being honest, knowing the history didn't immediately fix my confusion. I still looked at the millions of people in Cebu, people crying, people lifting their children towards a small statue, and I wondered, why? Why is our faith so focused on a child? And why does this specific image bring out a joy so loud it feels like it echoes across the entire Philippines? So, growing up in the US and also being not so religious, um, seeing the attention this little king was receiving, it was very different. So that's why I am digging into why Filipinos love the Santo Niño so much. And it kind of changed how I talk to God now. When I was younger and I saw like my grandparents or my relatives making offerings to a statue of a child, I didn't really get it, to be honest. I kind of questioned it and then they told me not to question it. So I just kind of let it be and just thought of it as a tradition that Filipino Catholics do. They make offerings to a statue. But then I realized as I got older, there's something about the whole Filipino experience. Life in the Philippines can be heavy. They deal with storms, they deal with hardships, they deal with being far away from their family if they're either overseas or just living somewhere else in the Philippines trying to make ends meet. So, in those moments of disparity when life is really hard, talking to God can, I guess, feel intimidating. So, they speak to a child. A child is approachable. You can talk to a child. You don't feel like you're being judged. You don't have to be perfect to come close to a child. So, for Filipinos, I guess the Santo Nino represents a God who isn't standing on a pedestal looking down. He is a God who steps in the mess with you. He is the Batang Hari, the boy king. It's the idea that the creator of the universe chose to be small and vulnerable, just like us. Which kind of makes sense. If you've ever watched Sinulog on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, it's everywhere. You know it's not quiet. It's not somber. It's explosive. It is loud. It is colorful. It is vibrant. Everybody is up, making noise, happy. I used to think if this is about God, shouldn't it be more serious? Shouldn't it be like calm? But then I looked at the faces in the crowd, and they're not just partying, they're shouting, Pit Señor, which basically means, Lord, hear us. The joy isn't because life is perfect. For many of the people dancing, life is actually really hard. The joy is a thank you for small miracles, the Lola who recovered, the job that you got, the strength to survive another year, another month, another week, another day. Just the joy of having food to share with your family at the end of a day. So they don't dance because they have everything. They don't dance because they think that their life is perfect. They dance because they realize that they're not alone. When I think back to my one trip to the Philippines for my grandmother's funeral, I remember the weight of the sadness, but I also remember how my family still found ways to laugh, to eat, to be together. And I'm starting to see that same resilient joy in Sinulog. Filipinos are known for being resilient. So it's a faith that says, yes, there is pain, but there's also a child who promises to stay and hold our hand through it. I realized that by ignoring the Santo Niño because I thought it was weird, I was actually missing out on the tender side of faith, a side that says it's okay to be small, it's okay to be vulnerable, because God became those things too. So, yeah, I'm still unboxing my faith, my heritage, everything. I'm still learning, but the why is actually starting to make sense. The joy is there because the God of the universe decided to come close. In the next episode, we're going to talk about what this means for us today, how to take this childlike faith and actually use it in our everyday lives, even if we're not in Cebu. So, I want to hear from you. When you think of God, do you picture someone distant or someone close? And if your family has a Santo Niño story, please share it in the comments. Till next time, bye.